Chris. Hi, Jeff. How are you both doing?
Very well, thank you.
Good. Really excited to be able to speak to you today for this film. Chris, you've created characters like Stitch and Toothless who they stood the test of time and they've become iconic. So, was there added pressure on this one, knowing you were adapting a character who exists on the page, or did those foundations help to build on?
I think we always feel the normal amount of responsibility to especially in a case like this where it's an existing book. Peter Brown created the characters, and I think we were always trying to do something. And I think in the back of our minds, we always wanted Peter to be happy with what we did. So being true to his book, adapting what we needed to adapt in order to get his vision and his message and just the spirit of the tone of his story up on screen intact. There's a lot of kids that read this book at a certain grade level, so there's a lot of people who are familiar with the story when they came into the theater. So always on our minds in a good way.
Absolutely. And Jeff, I know you were part of launching the Kung Fu Panda franchise, and now you're working on the Wild Robot, which I'm sure everyone is hoping will be another big franchise because the film's been such a hit. But what's it been like for you, and what does it mean to you to help bring movies like this into theaters?
I mean, this kind of movie we have all kind of recognized as such a rarity to get in your career. You're lucky if you get one of these. This movie is so the source material is so special and so fully formed in the sense of it's got all the right elements that we all love about movies, right? And then on top of it, it's got this bed of relevant themes that everyone can relate to. And it's all robots and animals, being robots and animals, which we don't always get to portray. So I think all of those things really helped make this extra special, and because of that, we always give our all to each one of these endeavors, but somehow this one got even more out of us than we thought was possible.
Fantastic. And Chris, this is a stunning looking movie, and that blend of the nature with the machinery, I love that. But I did notice that Roz goes from being CG to painted as the story progresses. So I was wondering if you could maybe talk a little bit about that process and where the idea came from, because it's such a fun thing to look at, particularly on rewatches, I think.
Well, I'm really glad that you picked up on that. Yeah, there's 30 plus versions of Roz that we trade out from beginning to end as she becomes a citizen of the island, as she becomes a denizen of the place. We always understood that one of the important things with Roz is that she's getting damaged the more time she spends on the island because she's not where she's supposed to be. So ideally, she'd be in this place that was very controlled and planned, etc., where she would fit in. But on the island, she doesn't. So she's getting more damaged all the time. And that accelerates when she reaches a point that she's trying to get Bright Bill to fly. So all this damage she's taking is increasing in its scale and frequency. And we always like the idea that even though she's getting more damaged on the inside, she's getting stronger, or on the outside, she's getting stronger on the inside, if that makes sense. So it was something that was on our minds really from the very beginning, again, because it's really a part of Peter Brown's book. I was very excited about the idea that in the third act, by the time Universal Dynamics shows up to collect Roz, that they would be relatively shocked at the condition that she's in. And that's why we staged it in the way we did, so that when Bontra, the representative from Universal, floats out of the spaceship looking for Roz, Roz steps forward and she actually steps into this pool of light. So we have this wonderful dramatic reveal of the state that she's in at that point in the story.
Oh, that's fascinating. And this is an amazing cast led by actors like Lupita, Kit, Pedro. I got to say, as a Star Wars fan, I'm always jealous when anyone gets to work with someone like Mark Hamill. And you've got a great story. You've got those stunning visuals I mentioned. But for both of you, how important is it to find the right leads to make a movie like this one work as well as it does?
It's so vital because everything depends on the quality of their performance, right? And the quality of their voices and how well those voices complement each other when they're all put together. And this cast is truly spectacular. It's they're all such incredibly strong actors and able to convey the depth of emotion that this story demanded. And it's rare to get the caliber of this type of cast together. They were all kind of in disbelief that they were all in the same film together. And I think it really pays off because all of these characters really do come across as fully realized thinking, feeling characters. You're not thinking about the people who are voicing them when you're listening to them.
Yeah, and for you as well, Chris, it must have been exciting to put together like the list of names I mentioned and all the great actors you have in this one.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I feel the very same way as people fell into place as our actors said yes to the roles that they were offered. It just kept getting better and better and better. And I think that this is an extraordinary cast. And we've been able to get them together in combinations as we've traveled around for promotions. I don't think every single person has been together
We've
yet.
never had them all together in one
Not all of
place at
them,
once.
but close. We got
Close.
a few pairings, which was really, really fun. And both Jeff and I got to be there as Kit Connor met
Bill
one of
Nye.
his idols
Yeah.
for the very first time, Bill Nye, that was cool.
Oh, amazing. And just while I've got you, Chris, I mentioned Stitch before, and that character's popularity these past few years seems to have just gone through the roof all over again. How excited are you to reintroduce him to the world next year with that live action film?
Yeah, he's become more popular than ever. Something I've been aware of now for since the film's released. I mean, he was like huge when the film came out, but he's everywhere now. I think it's really cool.
Awesome. And, no, it seems that no matter your age, there's something about animation that I think really resonates with all of us. I know this film had me laughing, had me crying. Such a wonderful story. But for both of you, what do you think is it about this genre that just continues to still make it so impactful for people?
I've always wondered what it is about animation that has an ability to endure. I think it's just the way that I think we see graphic images as opposed to photographic images, if that makes any sense. A long time ago, my dad told me something. He said, you take a photograph and you put it on the wall, and eventually you stop looking at it. But a painting you look at forever. And I think there is something about something produced by human hands that is illustrated that it has an incredibly direct communication. It has a directness that I think is unequaled. And I think it's also disarming. There's something friendly about it. It's like this wonderful, non-threatening thing. Animation's it's friendly looking, and I think that it enables you to tell some very emotional stories to a broad audience.
Yeah, and same for you as well, Jeff, as someone who's worked in the genre for a while now.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I think, all forms of art have this kind of emotional response when you engage with it, when you react to it, when you look at it. And, the best art does that, right? It transports you to somewhere you can't go. That's realism and photography are incredible for what they are. Art and animation can take you to places and send you to realms and characters and feelings that we don't get to experience all the time.
Yeah, and just finally, Chris, so much of this film is rooted in nature, but then when we meet Bontra and we head into that universal dynamics world, we start seeing a lot more sci-fi. How much fun was it for you to, have that balance of the nature and that the animals, but then to go into a full-on sci-fi world as well?
Yeah, it's weird that I've worked on two films I think that are actually sci-fi. I haven't really thought about that until a few days ago. With the world that Roz was supposed to land in, we basically just did the opposite of where she was. So, which everything that the island is, which is it's chaotic, it's dangerous, it is completely uncontrolled, it's open to the weather, and we made this universal dynamics designed city the opposite of that. It's obviously been pre-planned. Everything fits together. There's a harmony to everything. And in general, it looks pretty optimistic and pretty swell. I also wanted to tap into not a dystopian future, but more the kind of future that I was promised when I was a kid. And I would watch TV and I would go to Disneyland and I would see Tomorrowland and everything was going to be better. Everything was going to be improved on. So I still look forward to that. And I wanted our future world to, and that's one of the reasons that we went to Sid Mead for our inspiration for the styling. And there was one other artist as well that I'm forgetting his name. But there were a couple of futurists who pre-visualized that kind of world, and it never wore off to me. It always seemed like an amazing place. And it's still a potential destination. So I thought, yeah, let's just let that be the place that Roz was supposed to be.
Oh, fantastic. Well, Jeff, Chris, thank you so much for your time. I'm such a big fan of so many projects you've worked on, but so excited I could talk to you about this one because I know it's really resonated with people. And congratulations on the films. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.